Hi, folks. This is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report. Well, I have a couple things I wanted to pass on because we talk about the DEC. I think it's important that we looked at the DEC as a protector, as a partner with us in preserving and helping and growing our fisheries populations. Well, one of the things now, the DEC is going through some changes, and I really think they're getting much more proactive in involving the populace, involving all of us fishermen out there. One of the things they're doing is they want to make the regulations, the rules, the licensing much simpler. So, because there's special regulations in every part of the state we go to. And we may, even in our own waters in this area, and so we have to look up the regulations and see, okay, how big does a fish have to be in this water? Is it the same as the state regulations? Well, they want to change that, make it simpler. But they want to use us to help them. They want our advice. What would make it simpler for us? What do we think about these different regulations? And we have now only to February 6th to get our information into the DEC. You can email it, go to the DEC's website. You'll get more information on exactly where to send this and some of the things that they're thinking about changing to make our fishing easier for all of us, to make seasons more collaborative with each other. So I think that's an important thing. The other thing I wanted to tell you about the DEC is the things that we do. We can complain about, that game warden's tough, or we don't believe in that fishing law, or what so forth. But also, they may feel the same thing about us. Let me tell you about a couple things that have gone on lately. There has been DEC's rescues of people that, I got to tell you, they're always there to help us out. There was a case recently where a guy was climbing a hiking trail, and it was icy. And he fell. He was in his early 60s, and he fell, and he couldn't get up, and he couldn't walk. And so they had to bring the DEC and the forest rangers. They had to bring in special equipment to get him strapped onto a sled or whatever and get him out of there. Now, in this case, it probably wasn't his. He probably wasn't being stupid. The trails can be icy and so forth. But let's go to another case where there were a number of hikers that hiked up this mountain here in New York in sneakers. They got up to the top. Their feet were so frozen that they had to be rescued to be brought back down because they wore sneakers. Come on. It's amazing to me some of the things that we do. And thank goodness we have the DEC there and the forest rangers to help protect us and save us from our own mistakes. They also had to go in and rescue, and in this case, they couldn't rescue a guy. A guy was climbing one of our trails. He was in his 50s, and he passed out at the summit. They tried to rescue him, the people that were with him, but he died. And I think this brings up a big point. Everybody's going to die. There's always risks. Everything in life worth having is worth taking a risk. But in this case, when we want to be part of this hiking and do these trails. And I think a lot of times people don't realize that we might not be in shape necessary. We should be really honest with ourselves before we embark on one of these trips up a mountain to realize whether we have what it takes right now, or should we get in better shape, or are we too old? And I hate to say that because I believe in going for the gusto all the time. But I think it's really important because what COVID has brought is this tremendous desire by people to get out and enjoy what we do have, which is the outdoors, where it seems a bit safer. And so hiking has become much more popular. But like ice fishing, like going out in a lake and having a life jacket and being safe, same thing takes place when you're hiking or hunting. And you got to be aware that there's always going to be risks, and we might not be ready yet for those risks. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report.